Long before the idea of nation-states and territorial empires, a civilization emerged that ruled not by land, but by the waves. These were the Phoenicians, and while they never raised great armies or carved out vast kingdoms, they achieved something far more extraordinary. They built an empire without borders. By the end of the second millennium BCE, the coast of the Levant, modern-day Lebanon, parts of Syria, and northern Israel, was dotted with their bustling port cities. Tyre, Sidon, Byblos, and Arwad stood like shimmering jewels on the Mediterranean shore. Each city was independent, with its own kings and councils, yet they shared the same language, religion, and spirit of enterprise. This loose network of city-states became the backbone of the greatest maritime trading system the ancient world had ever seen. The Phoenicians understood something others did not. Wealth flows where ships go. Instead of conquering with swords, they conquered with sails. They built some of the fastest and most maneuverable ships in the ancient world. Long, narrow vessels with sharp prows and powerful oars that could outpace pirates and slip into the smallest coves. They carried cedar wood from the forests of Lebanon, prized for shipbuilding across empires. They exported glass, which they were among the first to mass produce, and the legendary Tyrian purple dye extracted from tiny murex shells, a color so rare that only kings and emperors could afford it. And wherever they traded, they planted seeds of themselves. A ship might leave Tyre and sail west, stopping in Cyprus, Rhodes, Crete, Malta, Sicily, Sardinia, and eventually the distant coasts of Spain. At each stop, the Phoenicians built trading stations, harbors, and colonies. Some began as little more than warehouses, but many grew into thriving city colonies of their own, the most famous being Carthage, founded around 814 BCE in North Africa. Carthage soon became the beating heart of a Western Phoenician network. From its harbors, ships sailed to the Strait of Gibraltar and beyond, venturing into the Atlantic to trade for tin from Britain and silver from Iberia. The Phoenicians were among the first to link the far western world to the eastern empires of Mesopotamia and Egypt, creating a globalized economy thousands of years before the term existed. Yet this empire had no capital, no central government, and no army. The Phoenicians thrived precisely because they stayed flexible and decentralized. If one city was attacked, others survived. If one market collapsed, others rose. They formed shifting alliances with rising powers, paying tribute to Assyria one century, trading with Egypt the next, and supplying ships to Persia when needed. This strategy allowed them to endure for centuries in a dangerous world. Other empires rose and fell through war, but the Phoenicians flowed around conflict like water. They spoke the language of commerce, not conquest. Even their religion spread with their sails. They carried the worship of Baal, Astarte, and Melkart to every port they touched, building temples from Cyprus to Cadiz. Archaeologists today still find Phoenician-style altars and inscriptions across the Mediterranean, silent witnesses to how far their influence reached. Their alphabet, simple, efficient, just 22 characters, traveled the same routes. Traders used it to record contracts and cargo, and foreign merchants quickly adopted it. This alphabet became the blueprint for Greek, Latin, and almost every writing system used in the Western world today. By the 8th century BCE, the Phoenicians had quietly built a commercial empire stretching thousands of miles, touching 3 continents, yet leaving barely a footprint of conquest. They were invisible emperors, their power hidden in the silent movement of ships, the flow of goods, and the spread of ideas. To ancient eyes, they seemed like wandering traders. But to history, they were something far greater. Builders of an empire without borders, the first global network, born of courage, craft, and endless curiosity.